Why is nobody talking about the Evil Dead pinball machine? It is Ash Wednesday, screwheads and deadites. My name is Chris, and I am here to tell you... Actually, we should do this one over here, shouldn't we? So if you are not a pinhead, you are absolutely going to be, because I would wager that you are completely unaware that there is a pinball company that makes almost exclusively horror-themed pinball machines. Based out of Benton, Wisconsin, Spooky Pinball started in 2014 with America's Most Haunted. 2 years later, they followed with this Rob Zombie machine that incorporates not only his music, but elements from his movies. You can see Captain Spaulding up there. They followed with Alice Cooper's Nightmare Castle, Rick and Morty, this gorgeous Halloween machine, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and this past November, they unveiled Evil Dead. Let's watch the trailer together. I'm going to take you through some stuff. I'm going to explain some shit that you may know, but maybe you don't. Not everybody's a pinball person. But by the end of this, we all will be. 3, 2, 1.
Let's go.
Let's go is fucking right. So this artwork is all done by an artist called Christopher Frenchie. That is called a topper. It sits on the back of the light box. Those are optional, but this is already being called one of the greatest toppers in pinball history.
Shoot some ramps.
You did catch that correctly. You can play either Evil Dead 1 or 2, and it's different based upon what you choose.
Get this thing loaded, Daddy wants...
Tell me you didn't freak out about that right now. Yes, you get to load the boomstick in the game.
Guns loaded. Wish I was.
This is all Bruce Campbell doing the voiceover in this. He does all of the call-outs in the game. He is back as Ash in this pinball game.
This is probably gonna stain. Might have to soak that.
All of these movie clips that you're seeing, they would all appear on the display in the head box.
Ready? Aim.
Groovy.
Come up.
So Spooky has both a family and an adult mode. That line is uncensored in the adult version.
Big ugly bitch. Deadite. Doesn't matter. Whatever you call it. Bash.
I love that too. Cheryl pops up. You shoot her down.
Well, pretty sure I'm the favorite kid now.
And you gain access to the cellar. Because they're not going to go and not put a cellar in an Evil Dead pinball game. You got Scotty and Ed popping out of the playfield. Those are called bash targets. You are supposed to hit them. It's satisfying as hell. Uh-oh, Linda turned.
Darling Linda. Oh. Please, Ash. Please don't.
Oh, she's back. Okay.
Breakups are never easy. Cabin lock is lit. I wouldn't go in.
Look at that swinging bench. That's just a...
Darling,
That's where your multi-ball is loading up.
Shut it off.
You can't tell me that you're not giddy about seeing an operational reel-to-reel as a motion toy. That is just there for fan service. It really doesn't have any other purpose.
Get a little drinky drink, huh? Nick.
So there it is. Evil Dead Pinball. Alright, so a couple of the biggest things that are discussed when a new pinball machine is introduced, and especially when it's a situation where it is a licensed property, is theme integration. And I think that you can agree with me, there is so many intricate details and so much nuance to this that they completely crushed this. In fact, they always do. They are better at theme integration than anybody else on the market because these are die-hard horror fans making these for die-hard horror fans. Other companies are out there seeking out Marvel or Star Wars or Disney because that's where the money's at. As stated, Spooky is seeking out Texas Chainsaw Massacre and Evil Dead. Another big topic of discussion with pinball machines is innovation. And I can tell you that while the toys in Evil Dead look to be fairly standard, the thing that differentiates this machine that you don't entirely get off of this preview unless you watch it a couple of times over, trust me, I have, is that this machine turns evil. You can check it out on Spooky's YouTube. They do hour-long coverage on this. We saw it briefly when the lights flashed and again when Linda turned. But what's happening here is that the machine is switching into a mode where it begins to play against you. As somebody who already owns 2 Spooky machines, I love the work that they do. I would gladly make this my 3rd, but here's the kick in the dick to all of us. It is gonna set you back about 10 grand. I know, it hurts. And something that you may not be ready to hear, that's actually a more than fair price for this machine. Their competitors making licensed machines of this build quality are charging $12,000 to $17,000 for things like this. I personally cannot justify the spend on it right now. And part of that is because I always wonder what they are going to do next. What do I do if I buy Evil Dead and then it's like 2 weeks later they announce Hellraiser or Child's Play? God forbid they do a Shining machine. I love my Nightmare on Elm Street machine over here, but if they did an upgraded Nightmare on Elm Street with modern technology, holy hell, can you imagine what that would look like? It's not an absolute no yet, but they are only making 800 total machines. So if anybody wants to, buy one for me, I'll gladly live stream it for you. I'll live stream that shit every night if somebody else is paying for it. And I will be your best friend. Sounds like a bargain, right? Since your interest is now peaked in horror pinball, and it should be, there's a bunch of them and they're fucking great. And pinball has come such a long way in the past 10 years. You can go to a website that is called Pinside, and you can search locations where you can play these, Evil Dead, or any other pinball machine. My house is not on there. I'm sorry, you cannot come over unless you buy me the Evil Dead pinball machine. Then we can talk. I do sincerely hope that there's somewhere close to you that you can go and give these a shot. It's a hell of a fun hobby. That's gonna do it for today, creeps. Do all these things. Try to talk me into buying the Evil Dead pinball machine right over here. As always, this is all just a matter of opinion. Play it yourself, make your own decisions, remain critical, support horror, and support horror pinball.